online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/life.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football. It's the only place to hear from Andy Reid on Mondays at noon. It's the only place that has an exclusive one-on-one interview with Patrick Mahomes on Tuesdays at 3:15. And it's the only place to listen to the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Kling on game day.
Touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce owning this game!
This is your home for Chiefs football. This is 96.5 The Fan. Follow us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes content at The Fan 965, KFMC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
What are you shaking your head for, Mac? Welcome to After Hours on this great Sunday morning, man. It's a beautiful day out. Get used to it because I think it might turn to crap here later this week. I don't know. I'm just saying, man.
Think so.
It usually does this time of year, right? It's
so.
good that it turns to crap. So just enjoy the day today. Jay Binkley, Jacob Mustard producing the operation Mac Attack with Mac Moore. You just heard for the last hour doing fantasy football. Of course, he was in Madrid, Spain last week, and Seville, the sister city.
Yes.
Okay, that's why I went, because the sister city of Kansas City.
course,
Like, crap, I got to go. Anyway, football
Sevilla.
in Madrid today. We call this Mac Attack. We've done it every Sunday since the start of the season, which I guess it's been kind of a long time ago. I was just thinking about the other day.
Crazy. I said week 10. Mustard's like, no, week 11. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. We're in week 11. The hell, man?
I know.
We're getting close.
I have an aunt that moved up to St. Joe, and I remember going up there during training camp. It just was like yesterday. And I'm going up there, and it's like almost Thanksgiving.
No,
like,
seriously. Yeah, Dusty and I did that training camp show. It was the first time I had gotten to go to the privilege to go to St. Joe. It was so much fun. But, yeah, that literally feels like it was yesterday. And honestly, the weather doesn't feel too far different than it
That's right. That's right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. It is interesting that you were just in Spain, and you said, well, you could have gone to this game today. And I was like, it's the Commanders and the Dolphins.
Yeah, dude, we hand Europe some crappy games, don't we?
Well, the funny thing is, though, they're all in those different jerseys, the different teams. It's like when there's an exhibition game here in KC, they're all wearing different stuff.
It's a rainbow out there.
I got a kick out of Jacob and I were doing a show one time, and they were I think they were in Dublin at that point, and the Cheeseheads were there. Everybody's wearing their Cheeseheads, and the Packers weren't even playing. The Pack wasn't even playing, but yet they were out there.
Cheeseheads and galore.
Yeah, so anyway, welcome back. You ready for this game?
Dude,
You picked a good week to go, by the way, and props to you for taking your vacation on a bye week.
I appreciate that.
Because some people don't do this. Who was it? Oh, Cody. Yeah, he has surgery. We talked about it on Cody Gold the other day. He goes his hernia surgery during the Broncos week.
During the biggest
He's
week.
He's not coming back till Wednesday because Logan and I have been filling in on stuff. It's like, dude, bye week. You take your vacation, you go to
bye
Madrid.
Week,
Spain,
yes.
Bye week.
Didn't miss much, it felt like. And now I'm back right for this is the climax. This is the pinnacle of the Chiefs season, man. This is it. And we go one of two ways after this game. After today, the season goes one of two ways.
I look at this kind of like a fork in the road game with the Chiefs, like a couple years ago when they lose on Christmas Day to the Raiders, and they fell to 9-6. Keep in mind, this is just a couple years ago. They ended up winning the Super Bowl that year, but they were 9-6 on Christmas Day. 2 more losses than what they have now. I mean, the sky wasn't falling then. We thought it was. But then they resurfaced it and went on the road in the postseason and had the most epic run of the number 2, the number 4, the number 5 scoring offense, number 2, number 4, number 5 scoring defense. Literally, it was probably the most epic playoff run in history, considering who all they played and considering it was all on the road for the Kansas City Chiefs. But regardless, I considered that Raiders game, that fork in the road game, I called it dynasty or downfall. Doesn't that sound good, Mac?
That is
Doesn't
good.
that sound good? Doesn't that
Nice.
sound catchy? You're going to go dynasty or downfall. I mean, you're a producer. You know how it goes. Hey, guys, let's come in at 10 o'clock. Let's talk dynasty or downfall. Which direction the Kansas City Chiefs picking?
It has alliteration.
Dynasty or downfall?
That's perfect.
They chose dynasty.
They did. They did. They're going to continue choosing that today.
And the Bengals game was the next game. Obviously, Joe Burrow didn't play, but
Suck
it's
it.
one of those things when you lose a game like that to the Raiders, it's embarrassing because you've had dominance over them, like the Chiefs had. Then there's Christmas Day and they beat you. And all of a sudden you start wondering, where are we going this season? Some teams fold up at that point, especially if the Raiders come in and beat you like that. But the Chiefs didn't fold up. They went on a stretch run, and obviously it proved out. I kind of see this as one of those games.
Yeah.
Dynasty or downfall type games, even though they've already proven dynasty. So that's out
But
of
are
the
you
way.
going to continue it? Are you
At this
going to
point.
be that dominant power?
Because if you win the day, you shut the Broncos up. Adam Schefter tweeted out earlier, I don't know if you saw it, that
Oh, I did.
did you see it?
The
About
biggest
how they're
game of the
considering the biggest
decade.
game since, a decade?
Yep. Just another day where another team Super Bowl, man.
But you know
It's
what?
exhausting.
You know what's funny is that the Broncos team that won the Super Bowl in 15, that was a defensive-laden team, much like this one. Yes, Peyton Manning did play. He was the quarterback, but he was hurt for like 4 or 5 games that year. But they won because of that defense. of the
Chiefs
Denver
got him
Broncos.
benched that year, right?
Yeah, and it's the same way this year. And the one thing about this Broncos team, it's an elite pass rush. We know that. It's an elite pass rush. They're on pace for some crazy stuff. And we know Andy Reid's record after the bye. It's 22-4. That's been well documented. 13-1 with the Eagles. Just 9-3 with the Chiefs. So it's been a little bit less.
Just 9-3. It's still great.
Mahomes after the bye, 23-1. Or 13-1.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, thank you.
Or 13. He's 13-1 against the Broncos. Excuse me. 13-1
Oh, okay.
so
I was going to say
he
that's
just,
not.
he just lost one game after the bye. That was the Eagles in 2023.
Hurt.
But he's
Okay.
13 not 13-1 career. That'd be his
like,
long
whoa,
career.
what?
No, but he's 13-1 against the Broncos. But regardless, Andy Reid, that's an 846 regular season winning percentage in games after the bye per Elias. It's number one amongst all coaches. So that does mean
Incredible.
something. It's number one. John Harbaugh's number 2, and Mike Tomlin's number 3. But he's 3-4 after both teams have a bye week. And we can debate what Denver is. Is it a mini bye week or a full bye week? Because remember, they played the Raiders, which means would consider playing the Raiders a full bye week. But it wasn't because it was a tough game for them. But they kind of had that mini bye week like the Chiefs are going to have when they play on Thanksgiving in Dallas. So we know that. And we know this offense, and I've brought up the comparisons too between the 2024 Chiefs and the Broncos, like as far as how close they are, as far as what the Chiefs are and the Broncos are. That Chiefs offense, by the way, averaged 22.6 points a game. This one, as bad as it is for the Broncos, 23.5.
Yeah.
The scoring offenses are almost identical. In total offense, they're actually better than the 2024 Chiefs. So we can laugh at their offense and understand that. But I was looking at some Bo Nix.
Who's their
numbers.
quarterback, though?
I was looking at some Bo Nix.
There it is.
Because everybody's talking about Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Do you realize he's got a streak of 18 touchdowns in 18 straight games? He's had at least one touchdown pass in 18 straight games. 5th longest streak of an active player in their first 2 years ever. That's
good.
I mean, yeah, despite his downfalls, when we look at Bo Nix, 18 straight games with touchdowns, still pretty impressive.
That's fine. It's good.
And he's a bad quarterback 1 through 3. We know that. Quarters 1 through 3 is, but in the fourth quarter, he finds a way to win. 4 fourth quarter drives, game-winning drives for Bo Nix. And I understand he's got his problems, but that's what they're going to have to roll with.
And there's something to be said about the fourth quarter medal and the ability to never feel like you're out and come back. And all that's fine and dandy, but like when you were playing the Giants and the Jets and all these other teams, like that works. That's fun. But this is the Kansas City Chiefs, man. This is Patrick Mahomes. Like, I don't really think they're a quarter 4 and 1 touchdown pass is enough to do it. And frankly, like they lead the league in punts. Like I have no room for Bo Nix and the Broncos scoring over 20 points today. Honestly, I said it today on Fesco, or said it this week on Fesco and Dusty. I'll tell you, Bank, and then let me know what you think. To me, Steve Spagnuolo has the most pressure out of anyone on the Kansas City Chiefs today. You had a bye week, and you're playing a defense or an offense that has struggled mightily, in a quarterback that I know you mentioned the touchdowns, and that's great. He's been consistent.
I was just bringing it up. I just found it odd because I was looking at his numbers, just trying to figure out something. Like, has he done anything that just wowed you? That was the only thing I found. That's the only thing that Bo Nix has really done that I was saying, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, he really hasn't been able to do much else. So if he's able to do much of anything today, I'm going to be really upset with Spagnuolo and this defense because that has been the unit that has come up and shown up, and I know that they're going to have to again, but from a matchup perspective, shouldn't they? Shouldn't they look good today, Bink?
Yeah, except when you look at the team's strength and weaknesses, obviously the weakness for the Chiefs, we know it's a good offensive line if they're all set together.
Oh, yeah.
And I talked Friday about the offensive line needs to get some pride because no sacks, man. No sacks you give up this week. I had a former Chief text the other day and say they're going to give up no sacks this game. He was confident in that.
Okay.
And listen, they do. But we know what happened in Super Bowl 57.
Yep.
The number one sacking defense, the Philadelphia Eagles, had none.
0.
So Orlando Brown and crew wore 0 sacks. Trey Smith and all of them at the parade.
Yeah, it was great. Yep.
Yeah, but they had a lot of pride. They had a lot of pride in what they did because they went out there and they shut down that vaunted pass rush and they let you know about it too at the parade. And I love that. I would like to see that today. But the weakness is, like Mahomes hit 14 times against the Bills. And I've always said the Bills drafted to beat the Chiefs, right? That's who their focus was. They should have focused more on the Patriots, to be honest with you.
So.
Because the Chiefs were what they're looking at, just like the Chiefs looked at the Patriots. That's why they brought in the Spags.
Yep.
The Chiefs drafted, they brought in free agents to stop the Patriots. They won that leadership. They brought Honey Badger right away to kind of build that defense and how it's going. And then Brett Veach has gone crazy drafting defensive players to shore up that side of the ball. They saw it as a weakness. But the Bills drafted 5 defensive players, the first 5 picks. They go out and get Bosa. Clearly, that was a stop Mahomes type of pick.
Of course.
The Denver Broncos, that's one thing they can do is get to the quarterback. Zach Allen, everybody's talking about Benito, which is great. Benito's having a great
Zach
year.
Allen is a monster.
But Zach Allen has 28 quarterback hits.
Whew.
And again, Mahomes hit 14 times last week. So you're worried about Benito on one side, but the other side, here comes Zach Allen. So they can do it, and a very, very active secondary. They get a lot of secondary blitzes as well. Matter of fact, Tafanga, their safety, has 2 quarterback sacks this year. So they bring pressure, and they're en route to set the sack record in the NFL. 46 sacks, the best since 89. Were you alive in 89, Mac? See?
No, I wasn't.
See? That's the last time somebody had this many sacks
The
this far
Purple
in the
People
season.
Eaters.
Is the Vikings. His last time, they weren't the Purple People Eaters, and that's back in my day.
Oh, really?
That's back in my day, Mac. They weren't eating anybody. But they still had 50 sacks at this point, but they're on pace for the most pressures, the most sacks in NFL history. Does that concern you? I look at this team and think they got to cash in now because this window's closed, and clearly it's an elite defense. But we know how this works. Free agency hit you, injuries hit you, and that defense, we may look at it next year and they're middle of the pack. Good quarterbacks stay forever. So
Exactly.
Mahomes and the Chiefs are always going to be viable because of Mahomes. That's why they have to cash in now. The problem is they have that now. The defense is there now. And J.K. Dobbins, they do have a good running back tandem. I think R.J. Harvey's really good.
I think R.J. Harvey's great, but they don't have Dobbins.
And Dobbins is gone. So, and I've wanted Dobbins for 2 years. I've been screaming about it for the Chiefs. They brought him in for freaking visit 2 years ago. They could have had J.K. Dobbins here, but regardless, they don't.
Yeah, for probably $1 million too. I mean, he's been cheap.
But when you look at that, I look at this as their one chance, and they should know this. They should know this is their one chance. They get the Chiefs. It's a chance. And we watch UFC fights all the time, like someone's just getting destroyed, and then all of a sudden they hit that one lucky punch.
Yeah.
And they knock the other guy out after he's been winning the whole fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's what teams don't do. They don't knock out the Chiefs. They let them just sit there. This is their one chance, man. This is a chance for the Chiefs to shut them up, too.
100%. I go back to, it's obviously not the same with the story of the matchup, but just as far as the context of their pass rush versus our O-line, big regular season game. The Niners a few years ago, I remember when Andy Reid had Nick Bosa, and his head was on a swivel, looking side to side, jet sweeps, getting chipped off the right edge. You never know where it was coming from. And he was the former DPOY at the time, and they shut him down. Andy Reid needs to have that sort of day against Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, and these Denver Broncos. There's no Pat Surtain. I mean, don't you think that should have a massive effect? Like, I'm with you on the front four, and I'm a little bit nervous about the Chiefs' protection packages and their plan.
Yeah, they're probably going to have
But Pat Surtain should have an effect on that too, right?
Last year's Defensive Player of the Year.
Exactly. You
And
should
he's
be able
not
to get the
playing.
ball
They're going to
out
have
quicker.
back-to-back, too. Mahomes, by the way, 28-71 passing when under pressure. It's something they do extremely well. Mahomes leads the NFL with 1,900 yards passing without pressure.
Yeah.
But when he's got pressure, it's much different. And they know this. They know that the key to
Why do you think that is? Because that wasn't the case with Mahomes before. Before it was like, hey, if you pressure him, you're screwed. If you blitz him, you're screwed.
you just give him time. It's that trust. That's why a lot of times Alex brought it up the other day when I was in with Alex. You know, Chiefs are in the bottom 5 as far as times under center, 11 times under center.
I know.
And all the big-time teams. And I look at the teams that lead the way, and then there's under-center quarterbacks like Stafford, Goff, those kind of guys.
Darnold, yeah.
Mahomes has extreme success from the shotgun, but there's a couple things that have to happen. Number one, you have to totally trust your offensive line to go under center, to give you more time. And two, you better have a good running game as well. And that's one thing,
of
course, they're lacking on. But and
Might
then
be
again,
1 for 2 with the
you don't
trust.
want to, like the tells, like we talk about Xavier Worthy and Hairston, the tell that he has. You also don't want to tell. So every time you go under center, you don't want to run the damn ball because then people figure out what happens when you get under center.
What have you heard about Simmons today?
Don't know. It's still an issue. I think he plays.
I think he plays too, right?
I think he plays.
And we're not going to do this.
I mean, we don't know 100%. Andy said he was going to. He said he's going to go back and look at the tape and talk to Andy Heck and all that. But I would expect him to play. Doesn't have a designation. Only one designation is Pacheco.
And I would say, because I know there were talks of like, well, he could play this drive and then sit out. Like, if he plays, like, I think he should just play. Like, there's no like sitting out a drive and snap count and now Jalen Moore's coming back in. Like that does more hurt. That does more harm than good. Wouldn't you say? A guy being in and out. Like if you're playing, you're in.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you can't be in and out with Jalen Moore. That is not going to help.
No, you have to have some continuity.
Trust. Yeah, we need continuity. That's how you're going to gain this trust. So
you have to have continuity.
I mean, honestly, man, I've said it, and Bink, the biggest thing, you're talking about the defense, you're talking about the Broncos, you're right. They have all the talent. They've got the motivation. They've got the chip on their shoulder. Now's the time. If you're Patrick Mahomes and you're Andy Reid, you've got to hit the easy button today, dude. You've got number 4. You've got number 87. Do not forget they are there. Little pitches and catches. Let them work.
You got to come off fast. I know that sometimes Chiefs start off slow, and we know that this year's been a little bit different. When they get a 7-point lead or 10-point lead the other team, this is a chance you go out, you knock them down right away, and get those fans booing because they will boo. They've showed they're willing to boo. So if you get down on the Broncos, and they don't fully believe in that team, those fans, as annoying as they are, and as cocky as they are, they're kind of down on that team, that offense, because of what they're doing. But one thing Vance Joseph does is he brings pressure.
Yeah.
And he knows Mahomes under pressure doesn't do well. I expect the Broncos, honestly, a lot of bootlegs, those type of things. Just kind of like Buffalo would do at times. The bootlegs always, for some reason, hurt the Chiefs. And I can see the Chiefs offensively doing a lot of quick hitters, a lot of screen passes.
Yes, that's what I want.
With an over-aggressive defensive line we got. I can't imagine they have a ton of time to sit back in that pocket and throw it deep. But I know Surtain's out, and obviously that hurts them. And I think they're a little bit disappointed. There's mixed reviews on Jahdae Barron.
Mm-hmm.
He was because that's one thing that they did that was right, is they drafted a corner in the first round. While the Raiders and Chargers went running back in the first round, Denver actually did something to stop the team that's won 9 straight division titles. And the Chiefs, they drafted Jahdae Barron, who's kind of more on the inside type of guy, can't play the outside as well, but he only plays like 35% of the snaps. Even with Surtain being out, it hasn't always been the Jahdae Barron show. He does have a pick. He does have an interception in the NFL, so he's kind of been a slower to develop as far as corner with the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, the lack of energy, like you said, coming out and, we started slow. Like, that is BS, and that has to end today. You're in the National Football League. You're the Kansas City freaking Chiefs, and this is a must-win game. You're 5-5. You're 5-5. 5-4,
you got to remember
whatever it is. Come on.
You're in this team's head. Remember, the Chiefs won 16 straight games against this team.
Yes. 16
straight. They are 17-3 against them in the last decade. And that's throwing in that little garbage game that they had at the end of last year when the Chiefs had their second team playing them. Yeah, they were extremely close at Arrowhead. It came down to a blocked field goal, but that was a different Chiefs mindset. And again, being good on fourth down has helped the Chiefs. 23.5%. Yeah. That fourth down defense puts Mahomes back on the field, and they're second in points per drive, 2.83 points per drive. So they score a lot when he's on the field. That helps them. I will say this, though, too, and this is the interesting thing, and I've got the tiebreaker, all the scenarios, but everybody was looking at the Jags. Like the Jags need to take that L, and the Jags – schedule's pretty favorable at times. Broncos is extremely favorable because they have a bye week, then they have the Commanders, then they've got like Jacksonville at home. They still have the Chargers at home. Their only tough game is at Arrowhead. Like they should be favored. Green Bay is at Mile High too, which we've seen how bad the Packers can be. So it's a very favorable schedule for the Broncos. This is your chance to get them because, again, they do have to come back to Kansas City. But we look at the Jags because they had that tiebreaker over the Chiefs, so that was a concern that one of the wild card teams. Well, now the wild cards in the AFC are the Chargers, the Bills, because it looks like the Patriots might win that division, and the Jags. The common denominator, they've all beaten the Chiefs.
You have no tiebreaker.
They all have tiebreakers over the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills can really be a pain in the butt. Like, honestly, Chiefs fans might want to hope they win that division, but it doesn't look like they're going to do it with the Patriots because you don't want to see them as a wild card because they hold that tiebreaker against the Chiefs.
That's scary. So
it's not just Jags, it's them. Chargers, you can rectify that situation because you got them at home.
I mean, you're getting close. You're not quite there, but if you lose today, you are now there to the point where you're laying out, counting on other teams. You're hoping that other teams to lose.
It's in you're in your hands right now.
It is.
And the good thing is once you get through this little stretch of this game, then the Colts, and clearly we'll talk about that.
Take a little bit of a
later
breath
this week. Take a breath because then it's the Cowboys, and who knows? Thanksgiving.
It's weird for sure.
Detroit
Dallas
used to be they show up on Thanksgiving, and who knows? But the good news is you get a mini bye before you head to December to remember.
That's it.
Houston at home, Chargers at home, Broncos at home. Your only road games are at Tennessee and at the Raiders.
Yes.
It is a very, very favorable Chiefs schedule once you get through this little gauntlet.
But you got to win these two. You got to win today. The Colts.
I think they win.
Colts,
I think their back's against the wall. And one thing about a team like the Chiefs with that kind of culture, that kind of championship pedigree, when their back's against the wall, they come out fighting. And the NFL's weird. We see teams like the Dolphins had no business beating the Bills. But the Chiefs are a better team than the Broncos, in my opinion. I think they get the win today. I do think it's close, but I do think the Chiefs get the win.
I agree. I think 27-17 is my score prediction. I
have
say
27-24.
Okay, a little closer. That's fair. I will say, though, Bink, if they don't, and if what we're saying doesn't come to fruition today, and they lose this game,
then you have to get a tattoo.
Wait, no.
This is Broncos forever. Let's ride.
No.
Broncos, let's ride.
I got to get out of here. No, I was going to say we're going to have next week, it's going to be a much different discussion about where this team is and where we're going in the future of this pending dynasty.
I'm looking forward to next week talking to Colts Chiefs because I'm not buying in 100% to the Colts until they prove it.
Okay.
Until they prove it. If they come in Arrowhead and win,
then 100%. Damn real.
But I look at reality. They've beaten the Cardinals.
No, I get
They've beaten the Dolphins. They've beaten the Titans twice. They beat the Chargers when they had their offensive line hurt. Much different. Daniel Jones has 7 turnovers in the last 2 games.
Yep.
7. And they went to overtime against the lowly Falcons and lost to the Steelers with the number 2 pass defense in the NFL. So anyway, it's next week, which clearly we'll talk about quite a bit.
Of course, and hopefully I don't have a tattoo by that point.
I hope not too. Let's ride. And a big picture of Russell Wilson's face. All right, Mac. Hey, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Bink. Appreciate you, brother.
And Brian Robinson, should I do anytime TD on him?
I don't know. What's the value? Did you check the odds?
Touchdowns last 2 weeks. It's like plus 550.
Oh, okay. I was going to say if it's 5 or 6 to 1.
It's like 5.
Okay.
Well, it was the other day. I haven't looked today, but it's like plus 550 the other day.
Take a flyer. Why not?
All right, just curious. But that's Mac Morey, 9 o'clock every Sunday right here. He and Jacob Mustard. Coming up next, though, we'll take a look more at those Kansas City Chiefs numbers and how important this game is before we flip over, talk a little local college football at 11 with Drew Nix.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. When you buy an engagement ring or fine jewelry gift from Shane Company, you get more than what you paid for. Our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. It covers everything. There's no fine print. You'll get unlimited cleanings, resizings, and repairs. Plus, it even protects your engagement ring's center stone. We stand behind the quality of our jewelry, and that's our gift to you this holiday. Peace of mind. Because a friend knows the best things in life are free. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses. Plus, an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM reward points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission Register for a Missouri online sports wagering account 1117. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Well, we're in the heart of football season, and the players, they got to be on their game and at peak performance and ready to go when it matters most to try and get a win on Sunday, Saturday, whatever time of the week they play. You also have to be ready and confident where it counts. I'm talking about Blue Chew, a small chew for a big difference. Day and nights just got longer and better for everyone because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. It'll have you feeling fantastic. Be ready when she is. It's not just about performance. Confident where it counts. Give her group chat something to talk about because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com and get your first month free. BlueChew.com and get your first month free. A small chew for a big difference. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Whether you're digging a pond, clearing brush, grading land, or doing demo, Foley Equipment, your Caterpillar dealer, is your one-stop shop. Buy or rent, Foley has the machines to get it done. Lease the Cat 255 compact track loader for just $8.99 a month and take advantage of other limited-time demo and purchase incentives. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your Foley Equipment location or go to FoleyEQ.com. That's FoleyEQ.com.
You think you understand how this business works, but you don't.
Landman, TV's biggest phenomenon, returns to Paramount Plus. From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Yellowstone, starring Billy Bob Thornton.
You have to know the rules of the game and bend them, and you really have to know them to break them.
Demi Moore.
I want success. Get it for me.
Andy Garcia, Ali Larter, and Sam Elliott.
You don't even know the game you're playing, do you?
Landman, new season, now streaming, only on Paramount Plus.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
96.5 The Fan is your exclusive home for Chiefs football, with pregame starting 3 hours before kickoff with Josh Briscoe. Then it's the call of the game with Mitch Holtis, Dayton Hughes, and Josh Klingler.
Caught! Touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce owning this game!
Followed by postgame coverage featuring exclusive one-on-one interviews with Andy Reid and Chiefs players inside the locker room. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back to After Hours. Jay Binkley, Jacob Mustard producing the operation. Good morning, Jacob. How you doing, man? A little Mac attack going on there, but last week you and I, in Mac's absence, we did a little fantasy football talk. Sprinkled it in.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. It's been a morning. It's been a week. It's only ramping up as the holidays get closer. So I'm gonna be here, and I enjoy doing the fantasy football Sundays. I was looking ahead. I'm like, man, the Chiefs play at noon next week, and then I think it's one more. It's like, so I'm off next week here because since the Chiefs play at noon, we won't be able to do a show. And then it's like, I think we only have 3 or 4 more Sundays left of fantasy football Sundays, which is sad to me.
And the Colts will use this to their advantage. They'll use it as a chip on the shoulder. Like, we're playing a noon game at Arrowhead. Why? Because no one believes in us. Guarantee that's what they're going to do next week. So Adam Schefter just put out, and we thought the Keon Coleman wouldn't play today. And keep in mind, the funny thing is, Buffalo is they've helped the Chiefs, man. The whole Mahomes deal being drafted 10 was the Buffalo Bills they traded with. Buffalo created their own worst nightmare. Also, the Chiefs jumped ahead of the Bills for Trent McDuffie because they clearly wanted to draft him. And they drafted Kyer Elam. It's not even on their team instead. And then there was the Keon Coleman thing. They could have had Xavier Worthy, but decided Keon Coleman. He's not playing today. He's a healthy scratch. And according to Adam Schefter, he's a healthy scratch because he missed the team meeting on Friday. So he misses the team meeting. I asked Jacob, I said, would they still do this as the postseason? I mean, rules are rules. Would Keon Coleman still be benched in the postseason? You don't miss team meetings, though. We know how teams are with that, and get some discipline in there. You miss the team meeting, you don't go. But it's always funny going back and forth with the Buffalo people and the radio stations about Keon Coleman over Xavier Worthy. He has been productive. 32 catches, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. They activated McCole Hardman, former friend of Kansas City. Of course, caught the game-winning touchdown for the Chiefs, is now active for the Buffalo Bills. It was on their practice squad, but now he's been activated to this point as well. But yeah, Keon Coleman was benched. Jacob asked me if they would have done this to Josh Allen. There was a I can't find it, but it was a long time ago. Jimmy Johnson was asked about it. They had a linebacker in the back of the room sleeping when he was Dallas Cowboys head coach. And I think he ended up cutting the guy or something like that. And someone asked him, point blank, they said, what would you have done if that was Troy Aikman? He was asleep in your meeting. And he said, well, I just would have gone and woke him up. I mean, different guys have different rules. I get that. I mean, I think Josh Allen has different rules as well. But it is funny when you go back to that draft of Keon Coleman or Xavier Worthy. I'd rather have Xavier Worthy, to be honest with you. We do those mock drafts all the time. We did it on character concerns this week. We had the Chiefs going defensive lineman out of Georgia this past week. We used to call it the Macarena, the Macarena, whatever you want to call it. We call it that when we do them all the time. We did one this month. We'll do one here in a couple of weeks. We'll do a full NFL mock draft. You know, it just depends on the direction we go. But anyway, Keon Coleman, who'd have one of the slower 40 times at the I think he was the slowest, actually. He had a good 3-cone drill. But regardless, he's not playing today because he missed a meeting for the Buffalo Bills. And I was just curious, would they play him in the postseason if this happened? Would he do other things because he missed the meeting? Would he be fined? Would he have to clean up the locker room? Would he have to do other things if he had gone and missed the meeting like he did today? But regardless, as I mentioned with Mac, Adam Schefter reported that Broncos officials, he did this on X, Broncos officials consider Sunday's game versus the Chiefs the biggest NFL game in Denver in almost a decade. That's true. Probably is. Since the 2016 AFC Championship game, in which Peyton Manning and Tom Brady squared off against each other for the final time in their NFL careers. On that day, Denver beat the New England Patriots. And I will say this, when you have the whole who's better, Brady, Mahomes, Manning, and all that, Mahomes is past Brady, man. Or not Brady. Not Brady. He's past Manning. Manning's 14-13 in the postseason. Mahomes already has 17 wins in the postseason, so he's past him. Do you know it took Peyton Manning 6 seasons to win his first playoff game? He didn't win his first Super Bowl till year 9. Year 9. That was number 2 year starting for Patrick Mahomes that he actually won the Super Bowl and has gone to the AFC title game in 7 straight years. But anyway, the Bills did trade the Chiefs. Believe it or not, they did it. I couldn't believe they did it. Chiefs get Worthy. They get Keon Coleman. Now he's skipping meetings. Who knows? That team's a weird team. They get destroyed by Miami. Yes, they should be a concern still because they do have a wild card at this point, and that wild card is a head-to-head versus the Chiefs. Yes, the Jaguars have one too. So do the Buffalo Bills, and it looks like New England probably going to win the AFC. I think they are. I mean, I know Jacob does, so I'll say I think New England goes on and wins that division. But I will say this, Buffalo at least had a parade this week. I don't know if you saw this. They had a parade. It was the Hallmark parade for their Hallmark movie. They're in the new Hallmark movie this year, so they had a actual parade for the screening for the Buffalo Bills in that movie. So props to the Buffalo Bills, who it's always funny seeing them lose. Come up next, though, take a time out. We come up next, we'll look at the tail of the tape between the Chiefs and the Denver Broncos.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Another summer is ended, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower, your workouts aren't as productive, perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time, maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Heartland Men's Health and get treated for your low T, because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Extra, extra, read all about it. The Fed just cut interest rates again, and that means now is the time to refinance with Golden Oak Lending. Lower rates mean lower payments, and our customers are saving hundreds every month. Plus, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll pay for your appraisal. Call 913-890-GOLD today and start saving.
Golden Oak Landing, join my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All in an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
And welcome back to After Hours. Jay Binkley, Jacob Mustard producing the operation. Yes, text line. How about those Gorillas? Beat Northwest Missouri State. They played the game at Children's University Park. They're going to the playoffs yet again. So Pittsburgh State shares that title in the MIAA with Northwest Missouri, who they beat at Children's Mercy. So yes, I did see that. Another person asked if that Colts game could be flexed next week. Too late for that. 12 days notice you need for that. So we're past that. But they have the Bucs and the Rams next Sunday night. So it's already a pretty good Sunday night football game. So I assume that they'll keep that there. And then Jacob's team was on Thursday night against the Jets as the Patriots pounded the Jets.
Well, and then you also have to think about the Chiefs playing on Thanksgiving the following week after.
Thanksgiving, a Thursday night game against the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, the mini bye sets the Chiefs up for December. As I mentioned, got to get to these 2 weeks. These narrative games here between the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Chiefs and the Colts. The Colts game at Arrowhead Stadium. They're the Johnny-come-latelys. Chiefs' chance to kind of extend that arm and say, not so fast, not so fast. They're definitely better at this point than we thought they'd be. I'll be honest with you, Jacob. I think the New England Patriots, we knew they'd be good this year. I didn't think they'd be division-winning type good. Are they a Super Bowl contender? Are they a division title? I mean, I always thought that'd be Buffalo in the AFC East, but I don't think it's going to be that way anymore.
I think if they can pull off the number 1 seed, and this is, this will show my bias as well, but if they can pull off the number 1 seed and get that first round bye, I think they do have a shot at the playoffs. But if they have to go, if Buffalo somehow scrounges back, Patriots still have to play them again in week, I think that's 15 or 16.
The good news of the Patriots is the home game.
It will be, and they did their job. They went into Buffalo and took them down. But, say the Patriots lose 2 of the next 4 games and the Bills win out and then they face each other, that is going to be a pivotal matchup that could decide the division. And if the Patriots fall to a wild card, I don't see them going on the road 3 times. Excuse me. I don't see them going on the road 3 times and taking it down.
The Bills' schedule, as far as their schedule, it's tough to look at their schedule because they've lost some games that you wouldn't think they would. Yeah, New England clearly beat them in Buffalo. That was a bit of a surprise, but I think New England, we've seen, is that good. They lose to Atlanta on that Monday night game. That was unexplainable. Then they lost to the Dolphins, which is really unexplainable, especially the fashion they got beat 30-13. They play the Bucs this weekend. And then at Houston, again, Houston, not a great team, but defensively they are number 1 in points per game against. At Pittsburgh, Bengals at home, at the Patriots, at Cleveland. So what about Cleveland? But then they play Philly. And then they get the fun Jets there at the end of the year. The booty called Jets to end the season. So it is favorable for them. As far as the Broncos are concerned, I always like looking at that 2024 Broncos because – I think there's a comparison. I think there's a real comparison to the 24 Chiefs and the 25 Broncos offense. Chiefs are obviously led by defense at that point. And just like what, this is Mitch Holthus when he joined Fesco and Dusty. And, of course, he sees every game firsthand. And this is what he said about this year's Broncos team compared to last year's Chiefs offense.
That's not been the case.
Right.
But let's just say it's a significant challenge. Because right now, Denver is the Chiefs of a year ago. Mm-hmm. Last year, the Chiefs won 11 one-score games, and they're so lucky. Oh, my gosh, you can't live like that. The Broncos have won, 6 of their 8 like this? Mm-hmm. And it's like they're gritty and tough. You can't count them out. So it's just the narrative. But really, the Broncos are having what the year the Chiefs had last year.
I mean, it's very close. This year, the Broncos' total offense is 13th. Last year, the Chiefs' total offense was 17th in the NFL. Passing the football, the 24 Chiefs were 14th. This year, the Broncos, 18th. That's the only Chiefs category they have them. The run offense for the Chiefs last year, 22nd. This year, 12th for the Broncos. Of course, J.K. Dobbins is out. That does make a difference there. But the all-important scoring. Chiefs were 23.5, Denver's 23.5 points a game. The Chiefs last year, 22.6 points per game. But the Broncos, that defense is elite. As far as the offensive points per drive, doesn't scare you. They're 22nd. They only average about 1.97 points per drive. And the Chiefs are very good, of course. They're number 2 in the NFL, 2.83 points per drive. And they're respectable on defensive points per drive. They're number 7th in the NFL. They yield 1.87 points. The Broncos number 2, 1.46. And they do find ways to win games at the end. 4 game-winning drives for Bo Nix. Yeah, they make it interesting. Only that 2-point win overseas in London against the Jets. That was a head-scratcher as bad as Justin Fields played in that game, minus 10 yards passing. And then, of course, the comeback win there against the Texans to win. But they still won it. The bottom line is they still won. And this team also did go into Philadelphia to win, the Broncos. Chiefs lost to the Eagles at home. We saw what happened. The ball bounced out of Kelsey's hand. They lose that game. But the Broncos did go to Philadelphia, who I consider still the best team in the NFL. But they went and won that game. But they are eerily similar. But this defense they have is elite at getting to the quarterback. I mean, the 46 sacks is on pace for an NFL record. It's the best we've seen in the NFL since 1989. I mean, it's been crazy. And 28 hits on the quarterback from Zach Allen, not named Benito. There are actually other good players on that defense. Obviously, Surtana's out. But they can do it. But here's the thing with the Chiefs. It's just shore up. Just take some pride in that offensive line. Take some pride in not yielding sacks to the Denver Broncos. And I fully expect the Chiefs to get rid of the ball quickly, Jacob. I think, honestly, it's screens. It's jet sweeps with Xavier Worthy. It's utilizing Rashee Rice in different ways. Remember, he lined up 8 different ways against Buffalo. Will we see him in the backfield at times today? I believe so. We even saw him at the Wildcat quarterback position as well. But I think Mitch called him, Debo Light a couple years ago or a couple weeks ago, and that's really who he's been as of lately. But Bo Nix, by looking at it, he does have a touchdown in 18 straight games. So he does have that. Yeah, quarters 1 through 3, not a great quarterback. Quarter 4 he is. That's why you put him away early, Jacob. You get that fan base booing him. And you know what? Patriots will be going for the Chiefs today, too, to give Broncos that L.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it both ways with all the, Patriots accounts that I'm following and stuff. They're like, I don't know if we want to root for the Chiefs to beat the Broncos, because it's also like you don't want to see them in, like, if the Chiefs get knocked out of the playoffs, that's best case scenario.
It's one way to look at it.
But it's also like,
but they're not done if they lose today.
No, they're not done by any means, but it's a step in that direction. And I don't think any of the Patriots I think they are all in the same boat as the Chiefs, where we don't really believe in Bo Nix, and it's more of the defense that's carrying them, because I just don't see it. It's something about the eye test. His footwork's off. He's not trusting the pocket. He's he's missed some wide open receivers, and it's been a little difficult to watch these Broncos games. They've been some sleeper fest games, and
this division, the 9 straight divisions, becomes a moot point if they lose today. And then it's about getting to the wild card. As I mentioned, the wild card's a different animal. I mean, the tiebreakers in the NFL, if there's 3 teams, things get different. Then you look at conference record. But if it's head-to-head versus a team getting in the postseason, it changes. And again, the Chiefs don't have things going to their advantage. Losing to the Jags, losing to the Bills, losing at least one game to the Chargers. They still have another one. I still think that Charger game at Arrowhead's going to be very, very interesting. And I think it's going to be meaning for a lot of different things. I don't think we can quite put the Chargers out of the way at this point, because they're still there. But they don't have Rashawn Slater, and they don't have Joe Alt. So they don't have their starting left tackle and right tackle. Both are gone for the year. Rashawn Slater before the season started. Joe Alt just suffered a second ankle injury when they played the Titans a couple of weeks ago, so he's done for the year. And then Pipkins was hurt for a while, too. Trey Pipkins, he's back now, too. But they got to find a way. And then Hampton's been hurt, but Kamani Vidal kind of makes that kind of a moot point with the Chargers. But again, they didn't draft to beat the Chiefs. You got to draft to beat the Chiefs. Chargers didn't. Raiders didn't. The Broncos did to some extent. I can't wait, man, because there's so many storylines on this game. National perception of the Chiefs. But again, I look at X's and O's. Yes, that is elite defense. And by the way, Benito's pressure rate's like 23%. 25%, the highest in the NFL with next-gen stats since Micah Parsons back in 2021. They are an elite defense. They get up their quarterback. That's why the offensive line takes some pride. The quick hitters from the Chiefs to kind of, step back, you screen right over them with that over-aggressive. Andy Reid will be ready for it. Again, he's 22-4 after the bye. He's 28-3 after his team has a bye and the other team doesn't have a bye. Where it gets shortened up to 3-4 is when both teams are coming off that bye. Mac mentioned Zach Bye joining him earlier, and I know he's talking about it in the fantasy show. He does radio for 104.3 in Denver. He had some interesting things to say, and I wasn't always glossing about the Denver Broncos, but he had some interesting things to say about this matchup with the Chiefs and Broncos. Bring you that next.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Don't you just love an NFL Sunday? You got your boys, your couch, your snacks, your favorite games, and FanDuel is sprinkling in something a little bit extra. This isn't just a normal NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your favorite go-to player prop, and they're making it even better at FanDuel because they're bringing the bonuses. That's right. All customers can get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. So however you play your game, FanDuel's got your back when it comes to putting a little extra into your account, because that's what Sundays should feel like. Visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to download the app and get in on the action right before kickoff. And remember, FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan and also the NFL. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost. Tokens restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. You know, confidence is key. You hear that all the time when it comes to everything in your life. The players that we watch and all the winning that we see comes from players who are confident and are able to deliver when it matters most. What if you could be more confident where it counts? I'm talking about Blue Chew. They provide access to chewable tablets that help you feel and perform at your best. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Day and nights just got longer and better for everyone. Be ready when she is. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. This isn't just about performance. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's an offer for you there. You get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 in shipping. That's it. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. Then you're ready to chew it and do it.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu, second to none. And don't forget about our 29-degree man-sized drafts. Our happy hour will have you coming back for more. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Oh, hey, welcome to gift wrapping. Whoa, Zoe Saldana.
Hey, can you wrap these, please?
Wow, iPhone 17s. You splurged.
At T-Mobile, you can get 4 iPhone 17s on them. It's the perfect gift for everyone.
I'm the worst. I only got my mom a robe.
Well, it's better than socks.
So I have to trade in my old phone, right?
No, at T-Mobile, there's no trade-ins needed when you switch. Keep your old phone or give it as a gift.
Incredible.
In fact, wrap up my old phone, too. For my Aunt Rosa. Forget that. Aunt Liz will be jealous.
Sounds like my family. Drama.
Oh, I got it. I'll give it to my abuela. I'll take reindeer paper with... Hey, where are you going?
To T-Mobile. Thanks, Zoe. The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Get 4 iPhone 17s on us. No trade-in needed when you switch. Plus 4 lines for just $25 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 4 eligible port-ins on essentials for well-qualified customers. Auto pay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end in balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 256 gigabytes, $830 required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Welcome back. Jay Binkley, Jacob Mustard producing the operation. 13-13 is the last NFL international game of the year. Madrid, Spain. Washington versus the Miami Dolphins. Tied at 13. About 12 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game. See if the Dolphins can parlay actually winning last week. Keep Mike McDaniel employed with his employer. Drew Nixon, talking college football, coming up at 11 o'clock. Do it each and every time I'm in here on Sundays. Good stuff to talk about. Talk about Ahmad Hardy, leading rusher in the nation for the Missouri Tigers. Exploded for 300 yards yesterday. I still want to know what happened in Ahmad Hardy only getting the ball 3 times in that A&M game, because it's rare where you bench, and he had 2 runs over 40 yards in that game, but he only had 13 carries. And it's the leading rusher in the nation. I know Jamal Roberts has been good, but you keep feeding Ahmad Hardy. They did it last night. He goes for 300 yards. Talk to Drew Nixon there. Coming up at noon, we'll have pregame. Josh Briscoe on, taking you right up to kickoff the Chiefs Radio Network. Be joined by Mitch Holtis, Dana Hughes, Josh Klingler in Denver, talking to those guys. And then, of course, postgame and halftime and postgame as well. With the Chiefs Radio Network coming up at noon. We'll hand off to them, but we'll talk to Drew Nixon coming up at 11 o'clock. Zach By, Mac Morey mentioned him. He does afternoons at 104.3 in Denver, and he was talking about this game, and he did talk about those offensive problems the Broncos have been having. For someone that watches them each week, goes to practice, everything else, yes, there are problems. Can they fix it? That's the question.
This year, he has really come back down to earth. And to point to one thing statistically or to one singular dynamic hasn't really worked. And here's what I mean. Like, Sean Payton has dialed up plays where players are running wide open, okay? And Bo Nix has missed them. And I'm talking about, like, wide open in the Big 12, and Bo Nix has missed them, okay? Then there's other sequences where Sean Payton's play calling, for as excellent as his resume and reputation is in that department, it's been absolutely head-scratching. Guys, Sean Payton uses more personnel groupings than anyone in the history of football. much like a hockey team does line changes in and out, that's the Broncos offense play by play. Watch it this weekend. There's guys running in and out or on and off the field every single play, to the point where last week Bo Nix was actually caught by the Nat Sound Mike saying, enough with the effing personnel groupings.
I mean, that's frustrating for a quarterback, especially Bo Nix, but it's something Sean Payton does. Always different groupings. You know, Andy Reid has different groupings with the Chiefs wide receivers and running backs as well, but it's got to be the quarterback's got to have some familiarity with it and some comfort with it when you're doing this. But I'm expecting looking at Chiefs' weaknesses, they have played the Chiefs close. Of course, that game did come down to the wire with the blocked field goal at Arrowhead Stadium last year. That last game in Denver, who cares? That was the Chiefs' backups. They did run up the score. The Broncos did run up the score, and I'm sure the Chiefs remember that quite well when they ran it up on Carson Wentz and company last year. Here's Zach By's thoughts on one Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, your thoughts?
Well, Bo...
See, it says it all right there, man. When Fesco asking Bo Nix, go. He's like, yeah. But they're stuck with Bo. Everybody's looking for a quarterback in the NFL. Everybody wants that Mahomes, that Lamar Jackson, that Josh Allen. They thought they had their guy. Clearly had a better year last year. We've seen this before with C.J. Stroud, that great rookie year. Can you back it up? Daniel Jones has been in the league. He's having a great year, like an MVP type league. I don't see him falling off because he's been in the league for a while now, or at least a year. Before this one, and he's having a good year. Can he parlay that? And I expect him to do that with Mike Vrabel as head coach, and he'll add weapons around him. But Bo Nix, they're stuck with this. And right now they're winning because of that elite defense. That's keeping them in games. It's winning them games, and it's elite. It is a definitely maybe one of the best we've ever seen as far as getting to the quarterback. But those are short-lived with free agency, guys retiring, moving on for more money, the likes. That changes. Good quarterbacks never change. So that at least that's not what the Broncos have. They don't have that elite quarterback in Bo Nix. And here's Zach By about just how fortunate the Broncos have been this year.
Like, borrowed time is not the right phraseology, but some version of that. They've just caught green light after green light after green light. And we've all been on that trek home or into work where everything just kind of goes your way. And you're like, wait, how am I here 6 minutes, sooner than I normally am? That's kind of how I feel about the Denver Broncos.
But the bottom line is they're winning those games at the end. There is some credit to that because with the Chiefs last year, we said the same thing. Good teams find a way to win. And everybody thought that was the Chiefs' Achilles heel. That was the problem. They're winning these games at the end, whether it's the Broncos block field goal, whether it's a doinker off the uprights in Carolina that went through. But they're finding a way to win. Yeah, last year the Chiefs didn't score over 30 points. They kind of sat on it at the end a couple times. They could have done it, to be honest with you. Now, they have scored at least 44 points, but it was against the Cowboys for the Broncos. So they did score there. They actually scored twice over 30 points this year. And they do have win at Philadelphia, which is big with this team. But they've had some head scratchers, no question about it. Nick Bonito, we talked about him, got the highest pressure rate in NFL, second best since Next Gen was open. He could be Defensive Player of the Year. That would be back-to-back Defensive Players of the Year for the Denver Broncos. He said the right thing. He was asked about the Kansas City Chiefs. No bulletin board material. This is straight from Nick Bonito.
Yeah, I mean, and I said it the other day on Thursday night. I mean, this division has been run by the Chiefs for so many years now. So, I mean, if we're going to want to be that team to win the division and reach the goals that we said we want, we're going to have to go through them and beat them. So, we're excited for the opportunity.
And that's the mindset of that team. Mindset of the team, don't give bulletin board material to the Chiefs. There's a bit of a respect to that, too. Hey, this team's won the division 9 straight years. You want to be the Kings? You got to knock them off. Here's your chance to get the Chiefs. You get the Chiefs in Denver, mile high. You've got an advantage of the division. You can knock the Chiefs down. So many teams have gotten to this point but couldn't do it. They get the Chiefs in the postseason. Doesn't matter where it is. The Chiefs are on the hook. The Bills had them down in 13 seconds. It could have won. They were already celebrating on the sidelines. They didn't do it, and they took the L. Even this past week in Buffalo, when they played the Buffalo Bills, 22 seconds were left. Buffalo clearly played one of their best games. The Chiefs played one of their worst games. But yet there they were at the end of the game with the chance to tie it up. As bad as they played, they had a chance to tie up that game. And, they're showing Josh Allen on the sidelines, and he wasn't really breathing a sigh of relief. And he even said afterwards, he said, well, we've seen what Pat does. And he had 22 seconds there, only 13 in Kansas in Kansas City. So it's all right in front of the Denver Broncos, all right in front of the Kansas City Chiefs too. This is a Kansas City Chiefs team with their backs against the wall. You always want to see how they react. You know, a wild animal, when you put their backs against the wall, they come out fighting. Will the Chiefs come out fighting today? We're about to find out here in a couple of hours. Drew Nixon, college football next.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
I woke up this morning feeling like I was coming down with something. Cough, congestion, headache. My first thought was, nope, this can't happen. I have big plans this weekend. So I took Mucinex Kickstart. It provides all-in-one and done relief with a morning jolt of instant cooling sensation. Thanks to Mucinex Kickstart, I didn't even need to cancel my weekend plans. If you start feeling cough and congestion coming on, take Mucinex Kickstart for relief with a kick. At your favorite retailer. Use as directed.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
my debit card.
Their debit card.
Where did I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
He's a world champion arm wrestler and one of QC Kinetics' most outspoken advocates. When Monster Mike Todd severely injured his bicep, doctors recommended a career-ending surgery.
Well, I definitely was never going to do that because I'm a competitive athlete.
And he didn't have to because the QC Kinetics medical team jumped into action, treating the damage using Mike's own orthobiologics. No need for surgery.
I think QC Kinetics was a huge help in my recovery. The percentages were that I would never make it back to this level.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments have helped transform, relieve, and restore thousands of patients with injuries and joint pain.
There's a pretty good chance that with under 15 weeks, I'll be competing for the heavyweight world title. Yeah, so I might be 24-time world champion by the end of the year.
You got this, Mike. And for anyone listening who's dealing with joint pain, the QC Kinetics consultation is free. So give them a call today.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. If you're planning to propose this holiday, we're ready to make creating your engagement ring a warm, welcoming experience. At Shane Company, we're all about your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. Explore the widest selection of diamonds and ring settings ready for you to see in person, or visit us at shaneco.com. You'll have your ring in days, not weeks. Our friendly jewelry consultants don't work on commission. There's never any pressure, just perfect proposals. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Check the back seat. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good, because every year dozens of children are forgotten in the back seat. Cars get hot fast and can be deadly, so get it in your head. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Chiefs Broncos Sunday with kickoff at 3:25 right here on 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Welcome back to After Hours this Sunday morning. Jay Binkley, Jacob Muster producing the operation. Chiefs Radio Network taking over at noon. Josh Briscoe and company, hearing from Mitch Holtis, Damon Hughes, Josh Klingler out in Denver, getting you set for the game, pregame. for 3 hours, halftime, postgame, you name it, right here on 96.5 The Fan, including Chiefs versus Broncos. So make sure you see that. Also, and the text line reminds me, and of course I know because I went there, but Pittsburgh State did beat Northwest Missouri State yesterday at Children's Mercy Park. So 3 out of the last 4 years, they had at least a share of the MIAA crown, and they will be going on to the postseason. Joining me now, as he does each and every Sunday that I have a show, Drew Nixon. He's the producer of Coding Gold. He also hosts 249 Miles of College Football. If you haven't checked that out, you need to, because it's starting to get real serious at this point to who's going to be in the playoffs and who's not. Drew keeps you full of that. 249 Miles of Football, the podcast, 435 Podcast Network, over on 96.5 The Fan. And by the way, if you're driving around today, when I say nice day, I was looking at the weather, Jacob. It's nice today, but, man, like I said, man, it's November. It'll turn the crap soon, like real soon. Like 60% chance of rain later this week. So, yeah, enjoy it now. Get those Christmas lights up. Good morning, Drew.
What's up, Bink? How's it going?
I like to be negative.
Hey, you know what? Hey, it was 75 degrees yesterday in November. Yeah. I will take it every single time.
Yeah, you could have put those Christmas lights up then. You could do it now before the Chiefs game. But eventually, the weather, like it always does in November, turns to crap.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. We do know it's coming, unfortunately. But hey, you know what?
Like
enjoy it. Hey, Bink, the positive way to look at this, though, is enjoy it while you can, because you know it's ending soon.
And once you get to sit in and watch great college football like we had yesterday, 4 games between both ranked teams. By the way, Drew, you're out in that area. Did you happen to go watch a little MIAA football action yesterday with Pittsburgh State, Northwest Missouri for the crown of the MIAA?
Hey, I'm going to be totally honest. I knew that they were playing. I did not know it was at Children's Mercy Park. Otherwise, I'm going to find a way to try to go. I saw our guy Kramer was out there, though.
Yeah, he's a Northwest Bearcat.
I was going to say the fact that he's a Bearcat, unfortunately for him, Pitt State got the win. But shout out to Pitt State for getting the job done there. They have the playoffs here starting next week, I believe, in D2.
Yeah, Kramer was a baseball player for the Bearcats. He's one of those dudes. You've seen Kramer. He was either home run or strikeout. Like, that was it. 2 outcomes. And most likely it was a strikeout usually.
I'm going to tell him that you said that.
You can. I've said it many times. It's a good old Crave dog. But anyway, proud Bearcat there. I'm proud Gorillas. So go Gorillas. They get the win 27-14 yesterday. How about the Missouri Tigers? Let's stay there, Drew. Start there. Ahmad Hardy over 300 yards rushing. Second biggest day in Missouri history. He now leads the nation once again in rushing, leads the SEC. You name it. He's the top dog. Finally, they kept feeding Ahmad Hardy. You know me. I was not happy about the A&M game. The fact he got 13 carries, the fact that he had 2 runs over 40 yards, one right there at the beginning of the game. Then he sat out, and Jamal Roberts, who's a fine running back, took over. But so I said, man, Ahmad Hardy is better than Jamal Roberts. You just keep feeding him, and look what he did yesterday. This guy runs, and he's only a sophomore, so you still get another year of Ahmad Hardy. Led the conference in rushing last year at Louisiana Monroe. Very good runner, but he dominated on that ground yesterday against Mississippi State. That's kind of been up and down as of late, but still can be a pesky team.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think this win actually was really good. I'll get to that more in a second. But, yeah, Ahmad Hardy, for him to put up 300 yards, listen, it doesn't matter the opponent. You're putting up 300 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
It's not like you ran the ball 30 times. You ran the ball 25 times, which is still a good, solid amount of carries.
And Roberts was good, too. So I'm not saying he wasn't good, too. But Ahmad Hardy is special.
Yeah, I think in terms of, to your point, Bink, and I backed, Jamal Roberts last week and have done. But to your point, Bink, when you have a talent that is as good as Ahmad Hardy, it's wise to use him. And you think you go back to, I saw Carrington put this out yesterday, tweeted it out. If they run the ball with Ahmad Hardy instead of Bo Prabula against Vandy twice, then maybe they end up beating Vanderbilt. Of course, there's a whole lot of ifs, ands, or buts in that whole situation. Sure. But he is a very special running back, and I think in terms of the Heisman conversation, I think he deserves to be brought up. I know that obviously he's probably not going to win it. Jeremiah Love is the better running back, I think, just out of the playmaking ability and all the other things, as well as Notre Dame being ranked, that helps his case. But Ahmad Hardy is as good of a running back as you'll find in the country, hands down. So shout out to him, obviously, for being that good. I thought that this game yesterday when I was watching it, because to your point, Mississippi State has been a little pesky. They almost beat Texas. They They've come close to beating some of these other teams in the SEC where they could have only come into that game very possibly with only 3 losses instead of 5. So for Missouri to win the way that they did was impressive. I do feel like Matt Zollers continues to get better, and this is one of the interesting things about it, obviously. It's unfortunate that Bo Prabula got hurt, but on the plus side, I guess if there is some sort of positive outlook to it, Matt Zollers gets in-game reps against SEC opponents, big-time game against A&M, and it seems like he's continuing to get more comfortable with the offense. He didn't have the greatest numbers yesterday, but in terms of making the throws when he needs to make them, I think he still has a ways to go, obviously, but he looks more comfortable within the offense, which I think will bode well regardless of where he ends up, whether it's in the backup spot again or whatever happens if Bo Prabula is still the QB, whatever the case is. I don't think Zollers has taken Bo's job, but I do think it's good to get those reps in for Matt Zollers in particular, and he looks more comfortable with this offense that Kirby Moore's got, at least from that game. We'll see how they are against Oklahoma next week or this upcoming Saturday, but I thought that all around it was a really good performance for Missouri, and it should have them feeling pretty good, I would say, going into the Oklahoma game. Whether they win or not, obviously, is up in the cards, but they should feel good about the game that they played yesterday.
Yeah, I thought Zollers looked a lot more comfortable in this game. Obviously, playing against A&M, the third-ranked team in the country, for your first start in college football, it's going to be tough. And he was hurt early on his senior year, so he hadn't played really a full season since his junior year at that point. But I'll be honest with you, I thought he looked great. Not great, but he looked serviceable for the Tigers, and it was good news to have for him. Mississippi State, by the way, they're 5-6 now, so they were on the cusp of getting bowl eligible. So they did have something to play for in this game, an SEC game. KU had the bye. K-State got a ho-hum win against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's a very bad football team with an interim coach. K-State gets to 5 wins. Not a lot of action this game, to be honest with you, Drew. It wasn't. I mean, it's a very pedestrian game all the way around for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and there was a moment in that game too early on. Chris Clement was hot. He was not very happy with the way that his team was playing, just from the standpoint of, hey boys, like, do you want to wake up and play? We have. I don't know if you know this. We have a football game we're currently in right now. You guys need to wake up and play better. It's one of those games where, not that they underestimated the opponent, but it feels like they came out super flat-footed. It was one of those ugly games that really, honestly, K-State, I believe they forced 5 turnovers. If K-State forces 1 or 2 less turnovers, they might lose that football game to Oklahoma State. Like, that's the type of game that it was from an offensive perspective. The offense was so bad. The defense came up with play after play after play, and it was a dogfight all the way really to the end. It felt like K-State was the better team, of course, but when you force 5 turnovers and you only win 14-6, that's a little bit concerning, knowing you have Utah this upcoming weekend on the road. So it's one of those things for K-State where they're consistently inconsistent, Bink. I think that's the best way to put it.
Great word.
Where there's times that they look really good. Like against TCU, they look great. Against Kansas, they looked great. But then there's other games where they show up and it's a dud of a performance. And even though they won this one, and in the end, a win is a win, obviously. But you're looking at this team and it's like, man, what is this Kansas State football team? It still feels like they don't have any level of consistency where we know what team they're going to be game in and game out. The offense is going to do this. They do this well. And if it weren't for one of the biggest plays of the game, that throw that Avery Johnson made to Jace Brown for a pretty good-sized touchdown, I mean, they might lose that game. And all of a sudden, if you lose that game to Oklahoma State, people would have been calling for Chris Clement's job now, which is obviously crazy. It wouldn't have happened, but I can understand the sentiment where that Oklahoma State team is historically bad, and they could not afford to lose a game like that. Now, they can still make a bowl game, Bink, as you know. They play Colorado week after.
I was going to ask you about that, Drew. They sit with 5 wins. Obviously, Utah is going to be tough for them, but then it's Colorado at home, and they've kind of fallen apart. So the bowl eligibility does exist. It might take that last week of the year.
Yeah, I think that you and I agree on, and everybody should agree on that sentiment, where based on how they're playing, they're not going to beat Utah. Now, can they? Sure. If they play the best performance they've had all season, they can. But in regards to the way that we've seen them play, they're unlikely to beat Utah, where it's going to come down to that last game. And for Colorado, they obviously have not been very good at all this season. Deion's been going through some health stuff. It's been just not a very good season for Colorado. So K-State should be able to get bowl eligible, but it is very interesting how we're looking at the two teams in Kansas being 5-5, and really on the brink of missing a bowl game, which sounds kind of crazy given the expectations going into the season for both of them. But here we are.
Yeah, it's funny when you think about the amount of bowl teams there are. 36, 72. Yeah. So there's 72 teams make a bowl game. And I'm excluding the college football playoffs in that realm. That's a ton. It's a coin flip whether you get in the bowl game or not. So the odds, it's not 1980 when just 8 teams made bowl games. Like everybody makes bowls at this point. Speaking of comebacks, Drew, probably the game of the day, at least in my opinion. I don't know how you felt about it. I'm sure it's pretty similar. But Texas A&M back against the wall at home, down 30-3 at South Carolina against a quarterback that could go in the first round if he comes out this year. It'd be at the end of it. Definitely going to be a lot earlier last year in Lenore Sellers. At the beginning of the year, he was looked upon a lot better. But down 30-3, and South Carolina's been pesky too. This is a team that Alabama had to beat with, 29, 30 seconds left in the game. They beat them, so they played some tough teams. A&M back against the wall, largest comeback in A&M history.
Sorry to cut you off, but yes, that is. It was one of the craziest games because obviously what you just said, the biggest comeback in A&M history, one of the best comebacks we'll see in the SEC ever, probably, just from the standpoint of how it was a tale of two halves, literally, where it's 30-3 at halftime. South Carolina's feeling good, and then A&M doesn't allow any points, and they come all the way storming back and they win the game. It was just nuts to see. It is interesting that when you look at the Texas A&M Aggies, their schedule actually hasn't been that difficult, where if you were to say, hey, the resume looks good, but now looking back at all the wins that they have, it's obviously an SEC schedule, but it's been relatively favorable for Texas A&M, and then you see them play the way they did yesterday. Maybe not that number 3 is not the right ranking for them. I do think they're the third best team in the country, and when they're locked in, they're as good as anybody else. But it makes you question them a little bit just in terms of how good, can they actually win a national title given that, and then we'll see how the rest of the season goes. I think they should be in that conversation when they're playing at their best. Again, they are good enough to win the whole thing. But
clearly their best win was at Notre Dame.
Yes. That obviously is the big one. And then in conference play, it just hasn't been as rocky of a schedule as we might have thought going in. Of course, they play Texas later, but that game doesn't look as good, just from the standpoint of Texas maybe showing who they are a little bit more whenever they've played good teams. But every single team, I think we talked about it last week, Bank, with Indiana and Penn State. Every team, it feels like every team goes through one of these tests throughout a season. Ohio State hasn't really had that yet. Maybe it was Texas early in the season, but we'll see how they are against Michigan and if Michigan can try to make something of it. But every team goes through one of these tests, and yesterday was that test for Texas A&M. And for them to win the way that they did, I think it's very commendable for them to come all the way back and win that game, because it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you're down 27 points at halftime, it's tough to come back and win a game against anybody in any conference game.
Yeah, and Marcel Reed, their quarterback, has moved up to third in the Heisman odds in both the DraftKings and FanDuel as well. He had a nice 439 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had a bad first half. He had an awesome second half. Another game that was interesting, Drew, another game between ranked teams. Texas goes down to Georgia. Georgia beats them now 3 times in the last 3 months. It's going to be embarrassing for Texas at some point that 3 times, including the college football playoffs, you lost 3 games, or the SEC title game. You've lost 3 games to Texas, which made me wonder. I sat back and go, man, imagine if Texas or Oklahoma were still in the Big 12. Would they have a chance? Would they win it, or would Texas Tech beat them at this point? But regardless, Gunnar Stockton, nice game as Texas falls apart once again to Georgia.
Yeah, it's a theme of losses for Texas that they would not like. They don't want to be associated with Georgia, at least for another season. I don't even know if they play Georgia next season, but if they could, they would like to avoid the Georgia Bulldogs. It is interesting. So I actually picked Texas to win this game because I thought that the way Arch was playing, they were just going to be a little bit better. By the way, they do not play Georgia next year, so Texas will be happy about that. But it felt like Arch was continuing to get better and more confident. I thought that Texas at least would be able to hang in there with them and cover the 6.5-point spread, I believe is what it was. But Georgia, it just once again was one of those things where they beat up Arch. They were getting to the quarterback, couldn't run the ball effectively well. Wingo was dropping. They had some drop passes. It just wasn't a complete performance at all from Texas. And, you know, I know Texas was ranked 10th in the country, Bink, but it doesn't feel like Texas is deserving of being maybe even a top 20 team, just from the standpoint of when they've had to play somebody that's really good, they haven't looked that good. And I know Ohio State, they kept that game close, but that game felt like it was out of reach and that Texas wasn't on the same level as them. It feels like Texas isn't on the same level as these really good teams. Now they sit at 7-3. I know Feinbaum was making the case that they could be in the college football playoff. That doesn't make any sense to me. Their best win is Vanderbilt, and as we've seen from the Vanderbilt Commodores here over the last couple of weeks, they haven't looked like the same sort of football team as they did earlier on in the season. So I think that there's some questions about this Texas program where when we look at the playoff picture, Bink, the SEC teams are starting to beat each other up. Alabama, I'm sure we'll get to them in a second, but they're 8-2. Oklahoma's 8-2. Texas is 7-3, but right now we're seeing a lot of 2-loss, 3-loss teams in the SEC, and we've seen that hard line in the sand where if you get to 10-2 and you're in the Big Ten or the SEC, you are in the playoff. If you don't and you're 9-3, then you're out. So as we get to this week's rankings and the next week's rankings before the final ones in December, it's going to be really fascinating to see if the SEC continues to beat up on each other a little bit and very much so take each other out of the playoff, I guess. Like Tennessee's got Vandy. If Vandy wins out, they're 10-2. They're probably in. If they lose to Tennessee, they got 3 losses. They're probably not in if history is going to repeat itself again with this year's 12 team.
And you mentioned Alabama. They lose last night to Oklahoma. They had 200 more yards than Oklahoma. They dominated that game as far as what their offense was. Oklahoma took advantage of situations. And as I've said, you and I were texting back and forth. I still think you run the football to win the game. They only ended up with it's third straight game Alabama has not had over 80 yards rushing. And I think at the end of the game, it's where you saw games away. I think being able to control the clock, run the football, it's what teams do. You run in the fourth quarter to win the game. Regardless, they didn't. They were the 4th-ranked team in the country in the college football playoff rankings, and they lose the game to Oklahoma that then faces Missouri next week. I don't know what to think about Oklahoma. Obviously, the defense is good, but Mateer's been up and down. I don't think he's been the same quarterback since he hurt his hand. But regardless, they get the win in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I think this was an impressive win for Oklahoma from the standpoint of they made enough winning plays down the stretch to win the game, which is forcing those turnovers. Of course, one of those turnovers that they forced directly led to 6 points with the pick 6 that Ty Simpson threw. Alabama was the better team yesterday from the standpoint of them gaining more yards and outplaying Oklahoma in every category except for one, and that was the turnover margin. And that ended up biting them in the butt, where now you look at Oklahoma and you know, hey, they got 2 losses, but they are very much so in the conversation for college football playoff hopes. And if they can beat the Missouri Tigers next week, Oklahoma is going to be in a really good position to clinch themselves a college football playoff spot. They have LSU afterwards. And that win, I'm not going to say it basically clinched them in, but if they lose, then they're out. That's where we're at in the college football season, which makes things so fascinating, is one win or loss now, and you could be in or out of the college football playoff. And that's some of the beauty of, college football with, obviously, its rankings and it's, decided by human beings. But if we look at last year, and we'll have to see if it continues to be a trend, we're getting down to if you win and you're in. If not, then you're automatically out. And Georgia's in a great spot now where they're at. Alabama, all of a sudden, they're on the ropes potentially. They've got Eastern Illinois. They're not going to lose that game. But then they've got Auburn, and it's in Jordan-Hare. And we've seen historically with the Iron Bowl, weird things happen in that stadium. In Jordan-Hare, some crazy things have happened. Who's to say that Auburn can't beat Alabama and literally take them out of the college football playoff? I mean, that would be pretty wild to see. But, I understand your point. Think that maybe I think Alabama are one of the top 5 teams in the country. But if you were to say who is 1 through 5, Alabama's 5. And I think part of that is, to your point, they struggle to run the football, where if they face a good defense like Ohio State and they're taking away the pass and they're making it difficult for Ty Simpson, based on what we've seen, they are not going to be able to hang with Ohio State.
Yeah,
they're not going to be able to win that game.
I see Ty Simpson lighting things up, but they're not able to salt the game away, just going to the ground game. They're 14th out of 16 teams in the SEC running the football. All right, the third rankings come out this Tuesday in the college football playoffs, Drew. USF gets beat by Navy. It was a great game. Navy gets the win. Navy's a good football team, and South Florida found that out. They're a very good team. But South Florida loses, so now the group of five kind of becomes chaos at this point. I assume James Madison will be in the college football playoffs as a group of five member on Tuesday night.
Yes, I think that is the case. Now, I think that they're obviously there. The American is kind of turned into what the SEC and the Big 12 has kind of been in a way, where they're just beating each other up. The conference is so good, Bink. I mean, they're every team 1 through 6 in that conference has 7 or more wins, but they're all like 8-2, 8-2, 9-1 for North Texas, 7-3, 8-3. Like those are the types of records that we're seeing. So that conference is just beating each other up. It is interesting and will be if James Madison, for whatever reason, runs the table and they win the conference, then they're in. I don't know if you could argue anybody else other than maybe North Texas. If North Texas can win the whole thing, then maybe they're in just based on the wins that they've got. Because no offense to the Sun Belt, but it's not as good of a conference as the American has been. So I think the three teams that people should be paying attention to right now are Navy, North Texas, and James Madison, Bink, as to who should be in the college football playoff. And you know this as good as I do. North Texas, they got Brockmeyer, who is maybe the best story in all of college football. 0-star, never played a down of varsity football.
Oh, Westamaker, you mean?
I'm sorry, yes. No. I mispronounced his name, but yes.
He had the BYU quarterback, Bear Bachmeier.
Yeah, but if you look at what North Texas has done, Bink, they beat Navy. So if they have the same record, they have the tiebreaker. And if it's a fight for that 2 or 3 spot for the conference title again, then Navy's not in, and then they're ineligible to make it because you got to win your conference in the group of 5 level. So that whole fight will be really interesting to see how things pan out in the American. And then if James Madison can run the table, we'll have to see. But for the person who is maybe even a casual college football fan, if you're listening to this, you're like, what the heck are Drew and Bing talking about? Go and watch you some American football and pay attention to these games down the stretch, because these games are fun. There's a ton of points scored, and it's just a joy to watch where there's no skin in the game, and you're watching some fun college football where every game literally matters because it's like 3 or 4 teams, Bink, vying for one spot.
It's a lot of fun. Last question for you, Drew, real quick. Mendoza, he's the odds-on favorite in FanDuel and DraftKings for the Heisman Trophy winner. That's my Heisman Trophy winner at this point. It's Fernando Mendoza. I don't know about you.
Yes, I would say Fernando Mendoza is as well, but I know Julian Sand is getting a lot of buzz, but I would say Mendoza's one, and then I really like Marcel Reed. I think he's doing a great job. I know he had a bad first half, but
he bumped up to 3.
If he continues to put up the numbers, watch out. Where if all of a sudden they finish out with a win with 2 wins in a row, I think he could make some noise. Jeremiah Love too, Bink. He's not going to win it, but Jeremiah Love is so much fun to watch. He is big time.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love is the best running back in the country at this point, especially since Justice Haynes is hurt. Well, I'm not hurt he has the numbers, but I'm talking about for Heisman Trophy purposes. I think that Jeremiah Love gets that nod. Drew Nixon, 249 Miles of College Football podcast. Comes out each and every week. Drew, this has been my favorite segment, always is. Love talking college football with you, my friend.
Thank you, Bink. Also, shout out to Missouri State. They're 7-3 and 5-1 in conference play. The Bears are tearing it up in their first year in FBS play.
Yeah.
So thank you, Bink. Appreciate it as always.
Take care, my man. Drew Nixon right there, a little 249 Miles of College Football podcast. Great stuff. There's some good games yesterday, Jacob. I know you're not the wildest college football fans, but 4 games between ranked teams. And I don't know if you sit down and watch the playoffs when they happen, but it's going to be fun this year. The playoffs are going to be nuts.
I try to watch the playoffs, and then I always catch a lot of the highlights from Saturday.
Yeah, it's good, and Drew breaks it all down really well on his podcast. Always a lot of fun. We come back to the National Football League. Chiefs, obviously, Denver Broncos this week, but it's also a pretty good slate for NFL games as well. We'll do that next.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Well, we're in the heart of football season, and the players, they got to be on their game and at peak performance and ready to go when it matters most to try and get a win on Sunday, Saturday, whatever time of the week they play. You also have to be ready and confident where it counts. I'm talking about Blue Chew, a small chew for a big difference. Day nights just got longer and better for everyone because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. It'll have you feeling fantastic. Be ready when she is. It's not just about performance. Confident where it counts. Give her group chat something to talk about because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com and get your first month free. BlueChew.com and get your first month free. A small chew for a big difference. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry nonstop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour nonstop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
It's about time pros had one partner for every part of the job. Simple ordering, fast delivery, continuous support, all from one partner. The Home Depot delivers supplies on your schedule. Our pro team helps you plan ahead so projects run smoother. And with Pro Extra benefits, you can simplify ordering, track spending, and save time every step of the way. Because with one partner, you get more than materials, you keep your job moving. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
You think you understand how this business works, but you don't.
Landman, TV's biggest phenomenon, returns to Paramount Plus. From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Yellowstone, starring Billy Bob Thornton.
You have to know the rules of the game and bend them, and you really have to know them to break them.
Demi Moore.
I want success. Get it for me.
Andy Garcia, Ali Larter, and Sam Elliott.
You don't even know the game you're playing, do you?
Landman, new season, now streaming, only on Paramount Plus.
Did you know that you can watch all your favorite shows right on YouTube? We're live streaming Fesco and Dusty, Cody and Gold, The Drive, and After Hours all day long. So if you want to look at the beautiful Alex Gold, interact with Cody Tapp in the chat, or gaze at the ruggedly handsome Dusty Likens, just go to YouTube and watch them while you pretend to work. Go to our channel, hit subscribe, and stay up to date with 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
Welcome back to After Hours. Thanks, Drew Nixon, for joining us, talking some college football there. 13-13 barn burner, Jacob, in Madrid. We had a field goal will go wide right, the Dolphins from the Commanders. So the Dolphins back on the field with 10 seconds remaining. If there's one thing we can give you internationally, and that's overtime football between Washington and Miami. Don't you think they're thrilled? Actually, they're probably thrilled they have an NFL game going on. But we give you the Commanders and Dolphins overtime football. Isn't that generous? Isn't that generous of the NFL to give a great game like this going on? It's actually a pretty good slate today in the NFL. Now, the YouTube thing was settled. Do you have YouTube, Jacob? Do you have YouTube? You a YouTube subscriber?
Yeah, we got YouTube TV.
So it doesn't matter now. Obviously, these games on network, you can get rabbit ears, whatever you want if you don't have it. But the YouTube issue is solved. I was doing a show Friday night. It was solved right during that show. And I was like, well, it's a good deal because people have been very upset about it. And I don't blame them. They have YouTube and they give you this $20 rebate, but you got to go online to sign up for it. It's a joke. But anyway, the YouTube ESPN thing has been solved, so you don't have to worry about Monday Night Football. You get it right away. But in Kansas City, locally, what they're showing, you get Tampa Bay and Buffalo at noon on CBS. That'll be fun. See if Buffalo can take an L, or unless you want Buffalo to win that division so you don't have to worry about the wild card head-to-head with the Kansas City Chiefs because they have that. And don't forget, Keon Coleman is inactive, a healthy inactive for the Buffalo Bills today. Now, he's still a starter with the Buffalo Bills. They had plans to play him, but he missed the meeting. He missed the meeting on Friday, so he's not playing today. We'll see if that bodes well for Buffalo. Have activated Gabe Davis and now McCole Hardman on that active roster as well. Former friend McCole Hardman, the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought it was funny. He was on the practice squad for the Bills, and they showed Josh Allen do these fancy handshakes with everybody, all the players. And then he got to McColl, and they didn't have one. So McColl, after the game, said, after practice, was like, hey, we don't have our secret shake or whatever. So then they do that. McColl and Josh get their own handshakes. So anyway, McColl Hardman action with the Buffalo Bills today. And then, of course, the other game on Fox at noon, the Bears and the Vikings. Of course, Chiefs and Broncos at 3:25. I think tonight's game is actually pretty good, Jacob. Lions and Eagles, Sunday Night Football. Yes, I will definitely imbibe in that, because Monday night's game, not so great. You get the Cowboys and the Raiders for Monday Night Football, but at least Sunday night, at least basically at 3 o'clock, actually noon on, the Buffalo-Tampa game is going to be good, then Chiefs-Broncos, and then you get to settle in for the Lions and Eagles at night. Monday Night Football, hey, it is what it is. Will I watch it? Yes. Is it going to be a bad game? Probably. But it's the NFL, so we'll watch it anyway. Coming up in the last segment, we'll make our picks of the week, as we do, and I keep track of them each and every time Jacob and I look at DraftKings for the odds and pick one game in the National Football League to go with. But as we said earlier, Adam Schefter put out that the Broncos officials consider Sunday's game versus the Chiefs the biggest NFL game in Denver in almost a decade, which is true because they've been pretty lousy since that Super Bowl season. It was the 2016 AFC title game with Denver and New England, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Denver gets to win on that. Denver, of course, wins that title, and then Denver goes downhill. They built themselves back up. They actually made the playoffs last year. Now they have dreams of winning the division. The one team that can stop that is the Kansas City Chiefs, who get that shot at Denver. Kansas City's got a couple shots at AFC West teams in L.A. to be in the season, the Chargers. Of course, they lost that one. They beat the Raiders. But coming in this year, the last decade, the Chiefs had the same record against the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders, 17-3 against all three of those teams.
Hey, somebody finally made the correct call in the overtime.
They actually
Dolphins
did.
Won the toss and deferred.
Paging 49ers. Paging the 49ers. Speaking of the 49ers, do you like what Brian Robinson Jr. is doing? You think they're resting McCaffrey? Think anytime touchdowns. It's like plus 550, I think, with Brian Robinson Jr. today. And he scored the last 2 weeks. It's a little fantasy question for you there, Jacob.
I mean, yeah, if they are indeed sitting McCaffrey, which I didn't.
Well, he's playing still, but they don't use him as much near the goal line. The last couple of weeks, because Brian Robinson's been doing a good job.
Yeah, I mean, this should be Brock Purdy's first game back. I think he's good to go.
I'll be honest with you, Mac Jones
has been playing great, man. I always enjoyed Mac Jones. I thought our system failed him in New England, but he's found life, and I think he's going to be one of the top trade candidates this offseason, because you pay Brock Purdy that money, they're going to have to keep him there.
Who get paid? It's what the NFL does. Guys like Sam Darnold, they go out, and you might have wondered what kind of money is he going to get in free agency. Remember, because he melted down there towards the end of the season. Had a great year until the very end. Of course, lost the playoff game, but you knew somebody would pay him. You knew somebody would pay Sam Darnold because the NFL is so starving for quarterbacks. Heck, look at the Titans. They drafted Will Levis in the second round. Of course, he's hurt, but then they go right back to it and draft Cam Ward, number 1 overall. Everybody's looking for that guy. I brought this up Friday, Jacob. Did New England get it right with Drake May? Because it appears they did. Because we all know you've got to get that quarterback in place, and you've got to get a viable head coach, which they've done both. Obviously, the quarterback before the head coach, but Mike Vrabel is the right guy in the right system. Tennessee is stupid for letting him go. It's New England, former player there. Of course, he played here as well. But Vrabel, those guys believe in him. He's kind of got that Dan Campbell-like, thing with the players and stuff. They have a tremendous amount of respect for him, and it's working. But then, of course, you have a quarterback in Drake May. That's why that team's probably going to be viable, because I don't see him falling off, to be honest with you. I think he's a definite MVP candidate, of course, and has a good chance to win it, to be honest with you. But just the right coach-quarterback combination, that's why I look at New England to be a real threat in the AFC when we think about Baltimore and KC. Obviously, the Bengals have kind of fallen off with Joe Burrow getting hurt all the time. The defense sucks. But, yeah, I think New England, we can start putting on that tier to watch out for.
Yeah, and Vrabel's amazing. He's everything you want in a player's coach. Have you seen his whole locker room deal where the players are running back to the tunnel? He runs back there first, and he greets and has a handshake with every player.
Yeah, he greets every single player.
He greets every player,
volumes, man.
And then his face, it's funny to watch his reactions. You can tell his relationship with each player. He lights up when he sees the different guys, and it's been fun to watch. And yes, him and Drake May, and then Josh McDaniels as well. Again, he should never leave New England. He's just a great offensive coordinator. He doesn't have what it takes to be a head coach, but he's doing amazing things for Drake May. He's helping develop him. It's also why those coordinators are so important, and having the same coordinator, which obviously isn't the case for this is the first year with Josh McDaniels, but going forward, we're looking at that. Also, first play of overtime, interception, Dolphins looking to win this game.
Mariota throws pick. We didn't even give him Jaden Daniels because he's hurt, but he's come back. I will say this, though. Remember the argument? Because with Mahomes and Reed, that success they have, everybody's trying to copy it. And you look at the model with Bo Nix and Peyton. Sean Payton not exactly working out like he thought. But here's the thing. Do you go offensive-minded head coach to go with the quarterback? Because we've seen first-round picks last couple of years. They've all fired their coaches, which is a bad look. And Justin Herbert, you look at him, he's on his third head coach. Bad things happen. So you think, do you need an offensive mind to go with that quarterback? Because clearly you think Harbaugh is the right guy finally for Herbert at this point. Or is it defensive-minded guy? Because most teams do that. If you have a bad year and you're an offensive-minded head coach, they go defensive-minded to the next. Kind of what they do. I don't think, to be honest with you, if you look at it and say, well, you have to put an offensive guy with that quarterback. You can't put a defensive guy with it. And then I think to myself, why? I think the right guy matters. Obviously, Vrabel's a defensive guy, and it works well with Drake May. Sean McDermott's a defensive guy. It's been working with Josh Allen. John Harbaugh did coach special teams under Andy Reid, but he's been an NFL assistant as defensive coach. So we've seen, great quarterbacks with coaches that aren't exactly the offensive-minded guy, like Andy Reid with Mahomes. And I've just come to this conclusion. Just find the right guy.
Yeah.
Just find the right guy. I don't care if his background's defense. I don't care if his background offense. Find the right guy. That's the answer. You don't have to just, fit that square in a round hole. You don't have to do that. Just find the right dude, and that's what the Patriots have done.
Yeah, you do, and I think it's when you get the right guy, and in this case, after Bill Belichick and Gerard Mayo, I think Kraft realized that they needed a players coach, and I think they realized. Have you seen the clip going around of the Giants draft interview with Drake May? And
yes,
I mean, he was incredible in that interview. I think the Giants tried to trade up a haul to get Drake May, but you have to have a coach that also trusts your quarterback to run the system. He trusts Drake May and he trusts Josh McDaniels. And when that happens, he can be like, okay, Vrabel, I'm going to take the defense, and Drake May and Josh McDaniels, you guys do your thing on the offensive side of the ball. And it's a cohesive unit together, and it creates a good football team. And I mean, really good vibes between everyone in the locker room.
I mean, Manning did have it made with Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison as his receivers, Dallas Clark at tight end, sprinkling some Brandon Stokely. He had it made, but I look at like Tom Brady, and it was him, and it was winning Super Bowls with Troy Brown, with Deion Branch. They did bring in Randy Moss, did win a title with him, but all the parts changed. The quarterback didn't. It looked Pittsburgh same way with Big Ben. The receivers all changed around. The quarterback didn't.
Yeah, Super Bowl hero Malcolm Mitchell.
And Drake May seems like that kind of guy, too, that the parts will move around. And obviously, Travion Henderson is having a great year with the Patriots. That'll be a staple in the backfield, I think, going forward with Drake May. And they'll clearly give him more weapons on offense as well. But that quarterback, man, you got to find that right guy. But the coach is very important because look at Vrabel. I mean, 5 times since the merger has a coach the team won 4 less games the year before. Now they've won 8 straight. Like, he's on a rare path of what they do. But it's finding the right guy. We can think, well, you got to find an offensive mind to go with that quarterback. Yes and no. Belichick wasn't an offensive guy either, right? Belichick's defensive-minded guy, but it worked with Tom Brady. How about McDonald in Seattle? That's a defensive-minded guy, the former defensive coordinator of the Ravens, working well with Sam Darnold at this point. So I don't think there's that perfect mixture where you got to find that offensive guy to go with that quarterback because it's been proven to be the other way around. Find the right guy.
Well, look at Miami. It's not working, and that's an offensive-minded head coach with a quarterback in a system that had a lot of speed, and that's what they built it off of, and it's still not working.
No, it's not. But again, you got to find that special mixture. And obviously, the funny thing about Vrabel, he was working with the Browns last year, remember, as a consultant. Like, they should have moved from Stefanski and kept him, right? He was already in-house with them. Already right there with them.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, I'll take their incompetence, and it's helping my team go.
Well, New England had the right guy. It was the right hire. It was like the perfect fit. When Vrabel's out there, it's all right. Former player, played with Belichick there, played with Brady, that whole deal. They get their own guy to go back and be the head coach, and clearly he's making the differences. New England, as we say, I think they win that division at that point, which puts Buffalo at the wild card. Buffalo does have that tiebreaker over the Kansas City Chiefs because they beat them, unfortunately, in a game. But regardless, today looks fun. The Chiefs-Broncos game, obviously important. We talk about their offense, and I've made the comparisons with the 24 Chiefs and 25 Broncos. They're eerily similar with these offenses, eerily similar in winning games at the end, which good teams do. Bad teams find a way to lose, like the Raiders. A couple weeks ago, they could have beat the Jaguars, went to overtime, but lost the game. They had a chance. They had Denver against the wall. 13-10 loss. That's not a very good football team, the Raiders. But they had a chance, but they didn't do it. Because bad teams find a way to lose and good teams find a way to win. So that's what the Broncos do have going for them, is that mindset of winning games. Because in the end, Jacob, we look back 10 years, you're not going to care. You think people are going to care about the 2024 Chiefs in 20 years? No, they'll see W, and they don't care about bouncing off a field goal post, blocking a field goal, whatever. It goes down as a win, and ultimately that's the most important. Chiefs radio network comes up at noon right here in Kansas City. Josh Briscoe with the pregame, the halftime, and the postgame. Live reports, of course, from Mitch Holthus in Denver, Dana Hughes in Denver, and Josh Klingler in Denver. So have you covered in the game right here on 96.5, The Fan as well. We'll take a timeout. We come back. We make that one pick in the NFL and see if it sticks. I got to catch Jacob. I got one game. He's got a one-game advantage on me. I got to make it this week. But Jacob just keeps getting it done week in and week out. So he's giving me a challenge. We'll do that next.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown of the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
My Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But early detection allowed us to take control of the situation,
together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
my debit card.
Their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Welcome back, 96.5 The Fan. Jay Binkley, Jacob Muster producing the operation. Yeah, it's that time where pretty soon, here in a couple weeks, you're not going to have to drive to the Kansas line if you're a Missouri resident. The Quick Trip Casino. We're heading out there and parking your car on 435 as soon as you get in Kansas because you can make your bets right there with you. I just heard from my friend Kent, who has the Colts playing the Bucs in the Super Bowl. He says I heard it there first. I actually picked the Bucs to go to the Super Bowl before the season began, but injuries have clearly been taking their toll. But no, it's a wide pick. And by the way, Kent's a veteran of the military, so happy Veterans Day, belated to Kent Tullis on that situation. The text line was asking me about the Carolina Panthers. Said they have a bunch of money on the Carolina Panthers today. Be careful with that one. I hope it's not your rent money with the Carolina Panthers. But I like the, so hopefully it's not too much. But it says a lot of money on the Panthers today who are, here's the one thing about the Panthers, though. Yeah, they've played some good games at home. They play the Falcons on the road today. But the one thing is the Falcons are so up and down. And Carolina losing to the Saints at home last week, that was a head-scratcher, losing 17-7 at home to the Saints last week. Yes, they're 4.5-point dogs at Atlanta this week. And keep in mind, they beat Atlanta 30-0 when this game was back in Carolina. So he put a lot of money on the Panthers over the Falcons. I guess you're going by that previous game. You're going back that 30-0 drubbing. NFL's tough, man. There's some weird games. Just go back to week 1. Look at the weird games. We brought it up last week, Jacob. The Raiders winning in New England. Did you ever think that would happen? The Raiders, again, week 1, weird things happen. The weird things happen in the NFL. Look at some of the Bills games. Obviously, hey, by the way, speaking of the Bills, they lose 30-13 to the Dolphins last week. The Dolphins win today. They won in Spain against Washington. Miami's now won 3 of their last 4 games. So, yeah, they're going to keep Mike McDaniel in his job. But each and every week, Jacob, we pick a game. We go off the DraftKings odds for it. You have a 3-2 advantage over me at this point. So, got to catch you at some point here. Have you made your selection yet on the DraftKings odds?
Yes, I have.
Who are you going with?
I am going to go with Dallas minus 3.5. I do like them to cover on prime time against
Dallas minus
Vegas.
3.5. So you're not buying the Raiders?
No.
A team that beat your Patriots?
No. No, well, in week 1.
I'd say week 1's weird, man. Just throw it out. I think people over-glorify week 1. Just like week 1 or day 1 in Major League Baseball, right? Like, that is so overhyped.
But
as far as wins and losses.
I also don't think it's as bad of a loss as people try and make it out to be. It was a healthy Brock Bowers. He did get injured in the late third quarter of that game. But when we saw last week and the week before that, when Bowers is back, that offense is different. And even though Geno, I think, threw 1 interception that game, he played a almost flawless victory game, 3 touchdowns, over 300 passing yards. He was carving up the defense
They
week
played
one.
better and went to overtime against Jacksonville. They gave Denver all they wanted on the road.
But yeah, I mean, I think Bowers completes this Raiders offense a lot more, and he's Geno's safety valve. It's especially now trading away Jacoby Myers, not having.
But you are taking Dallas to beat them by 3.5.
I am. I am taking. I believe in the Dallas team a little bit more.
You believe in Dallas?
Only 3. Well, against the Raiders, only 3.5 point favorites. I think that's a little. I think it's too little, and I'll take that.
There's a couple games I was thinking about. Obviously, we did it Circa Bets, and we've got several of these in here. We do the 5 per week on that. The Panthers-Falcons is interesting. 4.5 there for a team that beat them 30-0 at their place. But again, it's the NFL, and weird things happen. I think Seattle's interesting, +3 over the Rams. Seattle's a very good football team. Top 3 football team in the NFL, in my opinion. Rams are very good as well. But Seattle being 3.5-point dogs to the Rams, kind of thought about that one. But I'm going to go with one that's interesting. And it's the Chargers and the Jags. And on one hand, you want the Jags just to lose, get out of the picture, because they have that head-to-head over the Chiefs. Well, the Chargers do too. And you don't want that game becoming more of a big game at Arrowhead Stadium when the Chiefs play the Chargers later on, because they do have that win over the Chiefs in Week 1. However, I'm not buying what the Jaguars are doing. I don't really even buy what the Chargers are doing. They've looked better, and I get it. Alt's out, Rashawn Slater's out, you name it. They're 3-point dogs. Or favorites, excuse me. I will take the Chargers -3 over Jacksonville, which you know what that means. Put your money on Jacksonville. That you like mine or not? I do like yours to some extent. I do. I mean, it's a tough one. You picked a tough one. 2 teams that are you just never know. But you know what though? Those typically win. That's a coin flip game, in my opinion. But I will go with the Chargers to beat the Jags -3. As far as the text line, I wonder how much money you put on this game. Oh, by the way, Jacob, from the 816, a quick question for you. Dallas defense or the Packers? I mean, that's kind of an easy one there.
What was your question?
No, this is a question from the text line asking you, specifically you. It says Mustard. Dallas D or the
for
Packers?
For fantasy, I do like the matchup. I kind of expect Geno to throw an interception or 2. Who Packers are playing? Let me grab that real quick. They're playing the Giants with Jameis Winston at quarterback. That is
it's a road game too. It's in New York, so
yeah, that one's interesting too.
Packers 7.5-point favorites, by the way.
They are. I honestly, I have to go with the Packers defense. Just in this situation with Jameis Winston.
It's the only thing carrying that team at this point because Love's not doing anything. But anyway, 7.5-point favorite. Dayball, who got fired by the Giants, and what I've always said, you keep bad coaches there till the end of the year for draft position. So you let Dayball continue to suck. And I always say this when I see Brian Dayball. It's like, I could never forget the 2012 Kansas City Chiefs. Remember how bad they were? It led to Andy Reid in 2013. It led to the Chiefs having the #1 pick in the draft. It was Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator of those 2012 Chiefs. I think the worst coordinator in Kansas City Chiefs history was the guy that the Buffalo Bills want to bring back to some extent, maybe to work with Josh Allen, because he did wonders with Josh Allen, even though he won the MVP without him. Anyway, thanks to Drew Nixon talking college football with us. Always enjoy talking to Drew Nixon, the 249 Miles of College Football podcast he has out each and every week. Coming up next, though, Chiefs Radio Network takes over for the rest of the day. Then, of course, the Chiefs game right here, 96.5 The Fan. Jacob Mustard, thanks to you. And props again to Pittsburgh State for beating the Northwestern Missouri State Bearcats yesterday. Hope you guys enjoy your day. Remember, the weather is going to turn to crap, so go out and enjoy it at this point. Take care.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shea Company, where a small box with a burgundy bow will help you win the holidays. As an in-house designer, I love creating meaningful, fine jewelry gifts. Choose a necklace with a gorgeous infinity charm to symbolize your everlasting love. Or go for a personalized piece with an engraving. There's